Genetic tests like 23andMe.com and Ancestry.com are growing in popularity with each day. Genetic testing is all the rage in the conventional healthcare model because they think that the Holy Grail is personalized medicine based on your genetics. But as I've stated in previous videos, genes are not the end-all be-all. Genetics load the gun, but environment pulls the trigger. I'm Dr. John Bartemus, and I'm putting the pieces together to help you live a life at optimal. Today, I want to show you a patient case that proves the point that genetics may load the gun, but environment or lifestyle pulls the trigger, or lack of a healthy lifestyle pulls the trigger. So let's look at some results from doing a 23andMe test and taking it elsewhere to evaluate or look for the SNPs, or single nucleotide polymorphisms, that these tests look for. So this person complains of severe anxiety and PCOS, or polycystic ovarian syndrome. And it's a female, and she has a history of acne due to the PCOS. So what's interesting is this person came in and was worked with me 3 years ago, and has worked with me for the last 3 years on and off. But 3 years ago, she came in with the severe anxiety and PCOS. And so we did testing and figured out what was going on with her and dealt with it and eliminated the anxiety, the PCOS, and the acne. And so it wasn't until recently that she had the genetic test done, because she had a baby recently and was concerned that maybe her child has an MTHFR mutation. So she wanted to run the 23andMe testing to look for SNPs and see if indeed she had given an MTHFR mutation to her son. And you can see here that she did not. She has 2 good copies of MTHFR 677T and 1298C. So she's clear on that side. But what's interesting to me was, in retrospect, you know, we dealt with what we found on lab work and eliminated the anxiety and the PCOS. In retrospect, you can see here that she has 2 bad copies of COMT genes, which stands for catechol-O-methyltransferase. And what's interesting is these genes deal with metabolism of dopamine, norepinephrine, and epinephrine, so neurotransmitters that deal with frontal lobe function, planning, executive function, focus, concentration, anxiety, depression, those sorts of things. So she has the genetic susceptibility, by having red right here, for anxiety. Also, the COMT genes metabolize estrogen. So if you have estrogen metabolism issues, that could lead to sex hormone imbalance and may manifest as PCOS symptomatology. So what was interesting to me was, in retrospect, we didn't know when we were working on that stuff that she had these genetic susceptibilities, but now we do. And what's cool is, even though we didn't know she had the genes, we proved that lifestyle trumps genetics. So it'd be easy for practitioners to see the double negative COMT gene and say, well, of course you have anxiety, or of course you have sex hormone metabolism issues because you have these genes. But that's not what this means. These genes are a susceptibility or a probability of decreased function. It does not mean that because you have a red there on that genes that you're damned to poor function. Okay? So your lifestyle, or your lifestyle choices, or the environment determines epigenetically, is that susceptibility turned on, or does it stay off? So before we started working together, she did not have the healthy lifestyle that she has now. So the choices she made, like drinking alcohol and eating gluten and maybe being in bad relationships, being sedentary, that sort of thing, all those factors contribute to epigenetic expression of a low susceptibility gene, or of a SNP, of a polymorphism, so that now you do have a manifestation of the probability of that inefficiency. So she did have anxiety and PCOS because the environment or the lifestyle she was living epigenetically manifested as that SNP or polymorphism turning on. We we addressed what we found through functional medicine evaluation, and her change in lifestyle, in nutrition, physical activity, and stress levels, in addressing physiologic issues that we found through lab testing, then epigenetically turned that genetic susceptibility for anxiety and PCOS off. And now she's living a life at optimal, and would tell you over the last 3 years has no anxiety, just had a baby, had no postpartum depression, isn't having any hormonal issues. So I want to wrap this up by saying, do not run one of these genetic tests and find a genetic mutation and think you are damned to whatever that mutation means. All that means is you have the susceptibility for whatever that mutation means to occur if you live a lifestyle that is unhealthy, if the environment pulls the trigger. You can prevent the trigger from being pulled by living a healthy lifestyle, living a life at optimal.